What's going on, everybody? My name is Greg Peters. You are tuned into the Car Passion Channel. It's Sunday, it's sunny outside, and it's the perfect day to be working on the Miata. Now, I don't really have one specific task that I'm going to be focusing on today. The chassis itself just needs some maintenance, some repair, some cleaning, just general prep, so it's ready to be back on the road again soon. So I'll be working on that. I'm taking you guys along with me, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get to work. Thing I want to address here is the rear brakes. I've had some really aggressive brake pads on here ever since before the car was boosted, probably 45,000 miles, and they've chewed through the rotor pretty good there. You can see the deep groove, and there's almost no pad left anyway, so I got a brand new set of rotors and pads, so I'm going to swap those out first. One little thing to remember when you're putting new pads in the rear calipers is on the back, there's a little 12mm bolt right here that you have to remove, and then a 4mm Allen goes in there, and you turn this counterclockwise a bunch of times to retract the e-brake. If you don't retract that, then you can't push the piston back in and your new pads won't fit onto the rotor again. So you do have to readjust your e-brake every time you change your rear brake pads. Yeah, I'd say these are about toast. Old pad versus new pad. I'd say I definitely got my use out of these things. The new pads I'm running are Porterfield R4s. It's a little bit less aggressive pad, a little bit more of a street pad, and I went that way because the old brake pads, the Carbotech AX6 that I had in there, they worked great, but the dust was absolutely brutal, especially on white wheels. And now I have the Wilwood front brakes, where before I had stock front brakes, so I don't feel like I need to get every ounce of performance out of these rears, especially because I do have a Wilwood proportioning valve, so I can adjust the front and rear brake balance. So I'm gonna try out this little bit more street-oriented pad and see how I like it. And then for the rotors, I've just got like a Centric or something, just an OEM replacement rotor. There's no need for anything fancy if you're running stock rear brakes. Even some of the fastest Miata race cars that are running stock rear brakes are using these rotors with no problem, so I'm not worried about it. As far as adjusting the e-brake after you get the pads on, I'm sure there's probably some factory service manual pro way to do it, but what I do is I just tighten the adjustment screw until I can't spin the rotor, and then I'll go maybe a quarter of a turn or a little bit more, back it off until I can spin the rotor. I'll pull the e-brake handle, make sure it's nice and stiff, and then I just leave it as is. Are you ready? You ready? You want it? So the next thing I want to focus on is some wiring, but not necessarily making changes, more so removing any of the accessories and aftermarket stuff that I added with the Megasquirt 2. I want to get all that out and just start with a fresh stock harness, because I decided to buy an MS Pro to upgrade with the new motor. In case you were wondering, this is a question I get asked a lot. If you are upgrading the engine in your Miata to an engine from a newer Miata like I am, I'm putting a 2001 engine in a 92 Miata, the Megasquirt you buy is the year of your chassis. So this is actually for a 90 to 93 Miata, even though it's a 2001 engine. And it's gonna take a few changes in wiring, but it's really simple, and I'll get into all that once the engine's in the car. I'm gonna start by removing my old oil and water temperature gauges because I'm not gonna be using those anymore. boost and AFR, I do want to keep those as solidified gauges that I'll run all the time, so I'll probably relocate those up to the vents. And for the rest of the stuff, I mean, I'm gonna have oil pressure, exhaust temperature. Eventually I'm gonna have compressor wheel speed, because that BorgWarner has a compressor wheel speed sensor. And I don't wanna run 10 gauges, you know, all over the car, Fast and Furious style. So what I'm gonna do is convert my Tombstone to take a tablet, and I'm gonna run my gauges off of Megasquirt via Bluetooth. So if I'm just driving around the street, cruising, normal style, I can turn the tablet off and run my essential gauges, boost and AFR, but at the track I'll have a nice, big, brilliant display, and I can choose what gauges I wanna run. A pro tip for running gauges in your air conditioning vents: if they don't quite fit right and they kind of spin around or fall out, you just put a couple pieces of electrical tape to shim them up and wedge them in, and they're good to go. A lot of this is factory, but a lot of it is aftermarket stuff that I just added over the years, being boosted, accessories, gauges, launch control, all that type of stuff. I just want to get all of it out and start from scratch, and that'll help alleviate any kind of weird wiring problems I have when trying to get the engine running. But it's also going to let me teach you guys how to wire stuff up when I do start adding everything back in. I want to show how to wire up boost control, how to wire up those LS coils that everyone's been asking for, and that'll make the video more helpful if I'm starting, you know, from scratch, a completely stock Miata stock wiring. So here we go. Look at the amount of solders and connections and just all this craziness going on, intermingled. I just kept zip tying it up more and more. So that's kind of why I just want to pull all this stuff out, start fresh, and as I start adding stuff back in, I'll show you guys how to do it. But I will show you guys how to do it much cleaner than this. Well, hope I didn't take out anything too important. Now, what I haven't shown a lot of in the videos is any engine bay work, mostly because it's slow and tedious and really just cleaning. And a couple things like the braided clutch line that I installed, and little things here and there that were rusted that I painted black. There's my freshly depowered rack. I'll put a link up above if you want to check out how to depower your rack properly. But the bay itself is pretty much ready to have the engine dropped into it. One of the casualties from the fire was my wideband cable. That thing really took some flames, totally melted the plug. Oh, these are all accessories that I was running off of my MS2. Sequential injection, launch control, boost control. Fun to start all over now. Alright, we are under the night sky now. We busted out the lights and we got the ghetto bird out, so it's pretty much time to go inside, ladies and gentlemen. I think I got a good amount done today. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope you learned something. As I'm doing these more boring tasks, I try to drop those pro tips to keep you guys entertained. As far as the motor going into the car, soon, okay? A few more weeks probably, I'm thinking. I really don't have much more to go. I got the fuel system, which there'll be a couple custom bits here and there. The LS2 coils, I'm gonna show you guys how to modify plug wires to adapt LS coils to a Miata engine. And I have one more big thing coming for this engine that I'm very excited about, but also a little bit nervous too. So you'll see that in an upcoming video as well. As always, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're liking the content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.